And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. I'm your host, Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin', and this is episode number 27. And of course, I'm joined by my co-host, Roger.
Hey guys, how you doing today?
Man, Roger, what you been up to, man? What you been playing lately? We're in the midst of gaming season. A
Uh,
bunch of games
yeah,
came out too. So, man, tell me all
so
what you been playing.
I decided to skip out on Vanguard. I'm not really interested in paying full price for a Call of Duty game right now, especially with it not really having the features that I want it to have yet.
Right.
I did pick up Forza Horizon 5 when it came out on Game Pass, and I've been playing that nonstop. The game is co-op, so I've been having tons of fun playing with my wife and just playing a ton
It's a
of it.
lot of fun.
It's so good. It's so well done. I think it genuinely I if I don't know if it can be in the running for this year's game of the year, but honestly, it's a
Okay.
worthwhile mention. So it's definitely up there in my opinion. I think it's an awesome game.
Yeah,
So how about you, Vic? What you
we
been up to?
right. Yeah, so obviously we get our Valorant matches in almost, it seems like every night at this point. But I've been trying to balance games, man. There's so much out right now. And I've been playing, of course, Call of Duty Vanguard. The multiplayer's been hit or miss, just depends. And it's just like it's not to me, Call of Duty isn't fun anymore to me 100%. Like it can be fun if I'm playing with friends, I enjoy my time. But if I'm playing by myself, hopping in for a couple matches, I'm just pissed off, angry, just not having fun. And in
Yeah.
Battlefield, on the other hand, I've been playing because that's out right now. If you have the premium bundle edition, I did buy the more expensive one just because like I'm thoroughly invested in Battlefield this year, and I've been having a lot of fun. It's been really great, which we're going to dive into a little bit more here of some goods and bads of these games. But other games I've been playing, I started Guardians of the Galaxy, which came out the end of October. I'm in through the first four chapters of the game, I think, and I'm real thoroughly enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to how that game plays out, which I'm gonna dive into more here soon. And last but not least, I just started NBA 2K22 last night. I finally gave in and said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna finally create my player." I spent $100 on this game. I haven't played it yet. Let me go try it out. And oh man, that game's trying to be too much. It's a basketball game, but it wants to be an RPG, and I'm like, bro, I don't care about none of these cinematics. I don't care about walking and doing quests and doing this and doing that. Like, can I just play basketball? Can I please just play
Yeah.
basketball? That's all I want to do. So I think they took a step backwards with this game, and I'm still getting into it. I only played like two games, so we'll see how that plays out. But nonetheless, let's dive into some of our gaming impressions or gaming game releases. Of course, we kind of mentioned it here. Friday, November 19th, which is coming up here, Battlefield 2042 will officially be released to anybody who buys like the standard edition of the game, along with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Are either of these games on your radar? Are you going to be playing either of these at all?
Well, they're on my radar because we do the podcast here, so we know that they're coming out. But for me personally, they don't look like they add much for a remake in terms of Pokemon. Um, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl were one of those games that really had a lot to offer to the series when they came out because they in themselves reimagined the series. But at this point, we've been running off the same formula from Diamond and Pearl
Hmm.
to now. So they really have to remake the game. There's not much that they can do that's going to, in my opinion, make it a remake. So I think that's kind of where we're stuck right now. I'm waiting to see how good it is. I'm not going to jump on a bandwagon and buy it because that's something that, we've had an issue for a while now where you get a pre-order or something like that and you'll get on day one and you're like, "Wow, this is a horrible game." And with it being Nintendo, there's not really a refund policy.
Right.
Nintendo's like all sales are final. Whereas other people they're like, "Oh, you played an hour or two, we can you can get rid of you can refund the game." Well, you can't with Pokemon Diamond and Pearl,
Right.
especially if you get a physical edition of it. So I'm just kind of waiting to see what happens with it. How about you, Vic? Are you gonna buy Diamond and Pearl?
Um, I feel like I'm on the fence right now with that game, and honestly, the original Diamond and Pearl was probably the last Pokemon game that I actually took serious, where I thoroughly enjoyed playing it over and over and over and trying to catch all of them and leveling them up, evolving them and stuff like that. And like I played like I don't even know which ones I have on the Switch, um, and the DS, I guess. But it's just like they were just like you said, it's getting repetitive. Like it's the same formula. Nothing really has changed. So I'm definitely eager to wait. And the thing is, like what you were talking about, there's no exchange policy, no return policy with these games, and these games never go on sale. So I'm going to take my time to invest into this game because I want it to be good. And Diamond and Pearl, the originals, were great. They were really fun, and they were one of my profound memories of playing Pokemon. So it was just like, I hope they don't mess it up. So I might check it out at a later time, but definitely not right away.
Yeah,
But Battlefield,
that's
we
what
all
my
know
thought.
that I'm already on board with Battlefield. I'm already playing it. I'm gonna be playing it
Yeah,
tonight.
it looks very good, and honestly, I thought about getting it. I'm gonna wait till it comes out instead of paying extra for it.
Hmm. Yeah, I bought it because it comes with like you get all of the DLC, all of the first year content, all for free. So I was just like, I mean, any kind of content that you're including into that game like that for free, like any maps, or I don't know how their DLC is coming out. Anything that comes out in and I guess in year one, I get. So new guns, new maps, new
Yeah.
operators, new abilities, new equipment. I'm getting it. Offer it and whatever else comes out because they haven't laid out the roadmap yet. So that'll be something to look forward to. So I'm really excited.
Mhm.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying it. But let's dive into our game impressions here. We'll start off with a big one, Forza Horizon 5, man. One of the best games that I have ever played. But what are your thoughts so far of it?
So I wouldn't say it's one of the best games I've ever played. It is the best racing game I've ever played. I think to this point. I have honestly, I'm blown away with how well it's made. I think the biggest issues I have are with the online access. I get disconnected a lot.
Hmm.
I have issues where the game will lock up because there's soft locks that you can accidentally trigger. You know, playing with other people, if somebody's in a menu, you can soft lock yourself by mistake, and then you get
Yeah.
can't do anything. But the game itself.
Akeem.
Hey, Akeem. So yes, you can soft lock the game, but if you're actually playing and you don't really care about the small little issues you run into, it's an excellent game. It's multiplayer, like all racing games to date should be,
Hmm.
and not to mention it's co-op, not just multiplayer. It's co-op. So
Right.
maybe you're not good at racing, or you just want to play with another friend. All the races in the game, except for a few small minor ones,
Hmm.
are co-op. The whole game and it allows you to kind of spend that time with somebody else to play through the entire game, and it's on Game Pass. So for me, I'd give the game a 9 out of 10 right now.
Right.
If they fix some of the multiplayer issues, this game's a 10 out of 10 in my book.
Right. Yeah, I definitely 100% agree. And it's just like Mexico looks phenomenal in this game. I think they did a really good renderization of of the country. I love the art. I love the pop of color in it, and it's just like seeing the vast difference between all the biomes, whether in the jungle or the desert, the beach, the volcano. It's crazy to see that stuff. And then with the ever changing weather, like the sandstorms, the lightning, the thunderstorms, like that's pretty cool to see. And then the seasons that change. I think right now, I think we're in summer for the first week or two of the game, and then it'll transition, which is cool. Which was in the last game with Forza Horizon 4.
It's every week a new season,
Hmm.
and then every month is a new like pass. So you get two cars that you can work towards every week.
Hmm.
And then that month, those 4 weeks put together, you get another two cars that you have access to based on how well you did throughout those 4 weeks.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, there's endless amounts of content. Like there's never a dull moment. Like from trying to smash all the boards, like the bonus boards and the fast. Like they'd be in some crazy ass spots on top of buildings and on cliffs, and you got to go do jumps to get to them. Like that's fun. Like the speed traps. Those really long races from doing the festival and shit like that. Like the one race was like 32 miles. It took me like 20 minutes to complete the race. I was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, this is crazy. Like, is this like The Crew?" Because the Crew was one of those games that you race from like New York to California,
Yeah.
so it like took forever. So it was just like, "Yo, that was a bit long, but it was fun, I guess." But yeah, so the cars they look damn near realistic. It looks like the real thing, and what Forza has always been good as is the customization in the game. Like you can fine tune anything that you want. And my favorite thing about Forza is making my cars look like cars from Fast and Furious. I just have that kind of thing. You can
Yeah.
call me whatever you want, but I love it. It's cool that I can collect those cars from that because I used to collect those as matchboxes back in the day. Like when they would come out with Fast and Furious cars, I would go out there
Hmm.
and and get them. Now I can have them right in my collection right here and race with them. So
Yeah.
Forza's a huge game, and it should be in the run for game of the year, and it could definitely be up there. I don't think it'll win, but it's definitely a phenomenal. It's probably the best
Yeah,
racing
yeah.
game.
I don't think it's gonna win game of the year by any means, but I definitely agree that for a racing game, it is best in category this
I
year.
think this falls into the sports category, so I think this should be Madden, FIFA, 2K,
And
MLB The
nothing,
Show.
nothing has no one, no other game
The
in
only
the
thing that could come
sports.
close, if it falls into the category, I don't know where Flight Simulator falls into this
Yeah,
category. That would be the only one that would probably overtake it as the game of the year in that category because that game is flawless.
I don't know. Flight Simulator is Flight Simulator. At the end of the day, I think Forza Horizon 5 has more to offer than Flight Simulator does. Yeah, you can go anywhere, do anything, but it's all you're doing is flying. Whereas this, you're actually racing, playing with other, yes,
Mhm.
you can play with other people in Flight Simulator, but it's not, it's sort of just a free roam game. It's a giant free roam game for the most part.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, but that's a platform, like, that's like a,
Yeah.
Minecraft, Roblox. It's gonna be there. There's gonna be content added to it that you can
Yeah.
basically do whatever you want in it. So that game will be around for a while, and I think so with Forza because Forza Horizon 4 came out in 2018, and I was playing that basically up until launch of this one. So that was a solid 3 years of me playing it. So I'm eager to see. But moving on here to some other games that we've been playing. Call of Duty Vanguard, I've been playing. I just want to give my impressions on this. It pisses me off. The map rotation sucks. The visibility in the game sucks. Um, I don't know where the hits are going, like for the bullets. It's driving me insane. I shoot somebody first 3 times and I'm eliminated. I'm like, this is weird. So,
Yeah.
and then
The
like
game,
seeing the crazy shit on Twitter and TikTok of Das House or whatever that map is called. It's like literally like a fucking little ass square like room. It's like literally a house and someone's just running through with a shotgun, spraying, not even aiming down sight, spraying and killing everybody. And then they run back this way and kill everybody. Run this way and kill everybody, and they run back this way and they kill everybody. And it's like so stupid. It's like no, that's not fun. Like nothing about that is fun except for that person.
yeah. So I think the way to put this, the honest way to look at this, to be more you know, abstract here. The game itself has a lot of balancing issues right now. That's the
Mhm.
major issue we find with the game. Zombies wasn't ready, like as always, they
Right,
say, but the zombies mode itself was reworked and reimagined to be a whole new kind of game mode. So the diehard fans who are looking for zombies didn't get it. So the campaign, it's a World War II campaign. Yeah, it's a different retelling, like a unique retelling of what a different World War II could have been, but at the same point, it's a World War II style game.
right.
And so it's now reimagining Warzone as well with it, which good or bad, you're now playing with World War II guns in Warzone, and that's what you have to play with.
Right. I haven't
So
checked out Warzone yet. I don't know if they implemented anything from Cold War into or Vanguard into it. But yeah, you're talking
yeah,
about the campaign. The campaign I heard is very bad. Like it's like they do nothing different in any mission. Like it's like the same mission for 5 hours or 6 hours, however long it takes. Like not how
yeah,
normal Call of Duties do. Like Call of Duty has been known for those like really iconic missions that you do in the game, and
yeah.
there's none of those in this one. And you're just like,
Well,
oh, okay, cool.
and that's the awesome thing I think about Cold War. Like Cold War was a bad game, but even the campaign was pretty fun. The campaign was really enthralling to me. I thoroughly enjoyed the campaign. Zombies was great. The multiplayer was the only bad part. Yeah, that's what makes a Call of Duty Call of Duty, but at this point, most people prefer Warzone anyway, it seems.
Hmm. I
Warzone
got
is where all the people are going.
I got one idea for Activision in this. Stop letting Sledgehammer make games. I'm sorry, like they're just not good at making Call of Duty games. The only time that they've been good is when they helped make Modern Warfare 3. That was the only time that they were considered to
And they
be
were
good in my
helping.
eyes. Yeah, they were helping. So that's where I leave. I think Sledgehammer should move on to back to what they were good at when they were involved with like Dead Space and stuff like that. I Sorry, excuse me. I think that's the route that they need to go because Treyarch does a phenomenal job from campaign to zombies to multiplayer. They're usually pretty solid, whether I hate it or love
Well,
it. They're
the issue at hand is though, if we pull this studio out, then we're not going to have the same release schedule that we've been having with Call of Duty that everyone loves so much. So I think that's going to
we
be
would just
one of
go
the
back
big
to what it
issues.
was before. It would be
Yeah.
Infinity Ward Treyarch, Infinity Ward Treyarch. and it would be a yearly cycle just like before, because before they had implemented Sledgehammer, like now it's a 3-year cycle for each developer. It would just go back down to 2. So it's just like, nah, move on. Like I'm not a huge fan of Sledgehammer at all, because Advanced
Hmm.
Warfare garbage, World War II garbage, Vanguard
Yep.
garbage. Like
And not only that, it's World War II, so they just remade one of their games, and they're like, "Oh, we'll just do a different style."
right, like did you not learn the lesson the first time?
Yeah. So I agree. Definitely Vanguard has been a disappointment, but Call of Duty fanboys are going to be Call of Duty fanboys, and they're going to buy it anyway. No
Right.
offense,
No, I mean, I bought it. I was
but
excited.
yeah,
I'm a Call of Duty fanboy, but I keep it real. I'm not gonna like, oh, this game's great, and just be like, oh, this game is so amazing.
I'm going to give you my money, but it's horrible.
Right. So
Okay,
it's
well,
just
we
like
got
no.
your money. Who cares?
Right.
So, moving on here though from Call of Duty Vanguard to Battlefield 2042. Battlefield 2042. We've got some issues with launch here. So the game there's no in-game chat, there's no scoreboard, there's no career stats, and there's barely any weapons to what Battlefield is typically has. What are your thoughts about this, Vic? I'm gonna get the game here soon. What should I expect?
Okay, so Battlefield, if like any of that other stuff doesn't matter to you, the game will be phenomenal. The maps are huge, the maps are fun, the maps aren't too crazy, even though there's 128 people. The gunplay feels like fine tuned to what the beta was. Like they did a really good job with fine tuning the weapons. Like I feel
Hmm.
like I can go on tears if I'm trying to take a site, and I can just start lasering dudes. And changing the attachments on your gun in the game is the best I've ever seen. Like
Well,
literally,
it's realistic.
like I literally like when on the controller, right? I'm trying to grab the controller here without breaking it. Like you literally press here, and it brings up a 4x4, like from the D-pad, and then like it's based off of the A, B, X, Y buttons. And say I want to get to a different like scope, I just press Y, and it switches to that next scope, and it does that for each button. You just keep pressing it, and it's really quick.
Yeah.
And it, like switching them, like it's just like instantly. And I'm like, yo, that's dope. Like I can approach each situation as I need to, and that's something that Call of Duty will lack. Like, yeah, you can edit your class mid game in Call of Duty, but like you don't get the new
Die.
attachments until you die. So it's just like, well, that sucks. Well, then I don't need them anymore. So it's just like, there's no
No,
really
I
win there. But
well,
yeah,
and
Battlefield,
it's a realism thing.
right. And but Battlefield, the lack of scoreboard really blew my mind because like I was like searching all over the screen. I'm like, where the fuck is it? And it drove me crazy. And then after the game, I went to Reddit and Google and stuff, and they were like, yeah, there's nothing there. And like, there's going to be a way to track your stats later from tracker.gg, which is all sites use. But it's just like I shouldn't have to use a third party site
Yeah.
to see my stats. Like that feature should be built into the game already. And it makes me wonder, like, should you have delayed this game until next year,
Mhm.
January, February? I mean, it's going to be a stacked year for gaming, but you may have
Why is it missing to begin with?
right,
That's the
and
thing.
there's no content.
It's such a basic required feature for it to be missing is insane.
Right, and then the lack of game modes, like it's literally conquest or
Mhm.
conquest, and I think there's like another one in there, but no one plays it. It's
Conquest.
conquest, so open warfare, all out warfare. Like,
Yeah.
where are all the other game modes? Like, I don't want to always play 128 people. Why can't you make it smaller, make it more condensed, like other game modes? Like,
And and
don't,
and is there a story with Battlefield 2042?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So for a multiplayer only game, the fact that we're missing so many things is quite unusual for Battlefield. But hopefully we'll see them here soon and, is there a battle pass we have to do every month?
Not yet, at least I should say.
So, you know, you get what you get as the game is already here. But did you hear the news? There's supposedly PS5s are being bricked by Battlefield 2042. We've seen some posts on the internet where people are like, "Well, my console's dead. Battlefield 2042 killed my console."
Yeah, when I saw that post and I threw it into our chat, I was just like, damn. And
Hmm.
that's crazy. And it makes me think about what we talked about in either last episode or episode before, where it couldn't run 120 hertz with
Yeah.
128 players. It's struggling to do 60 with 128 on a
Hmm.
PS5. it's already fucking up your computer or your PlayStation. And it's
And
just
I
like,
agree.
and I hope that doesn't lead to having problems with my Xbox. I have not seen anything in the news or anywhere about it bricking Xboxes yet, but it could happen. But it's hopefully not. It's a season of
And I
bad
agree
launches.
with
Yes,
Yeah, I agree with you, Spooky. It is a definitely season of bad launches, but I'm gonna go beyond that and say it's bad launches altogether. That's the new
it's
norm.
been like that for a while.
That's
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna deal with this for quite some time, I think. Very few games are gonna be amazing on launch. And even then, I think the big ones we're gonna look at are gonna be Game Pass lately. Game Pass is gonna be where all the big games are. They're not looking to compete anymore. They don't care about sales. The game isn't supposed to garner sales anymore. So they don't care about trying to pull in more sales because they already have that guaranteed revenue. Game Pass is making them millions a month.
yeah, it's insane.
So, um, I think that's definitely an interesting thing to talk about. But last game here that we want to talk about under the impressions of the week, Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a game I haven't tried yet. Is it worth it?
I think it's worth it. It's like night and day difference between Marvel's Avengers, which everyone knows that I talk very poorly of, versus now. And it's phenomenal. I'm 4 chapters in. I think there's 16, so I'm about a quarter of the way done. And the story's there. The combat is smooth. It's a lot smoother than I thought it was going to be because you do this whole thing of like you got to pull up like a menu and then choose which one of your teammates and then choose what move that they do, and it's like all smooth. Like it's not it doesn't seem clunky. It's all happening in real time. Nothing slows down unless you do the huddle or whatever. Then that's kind of pretty abrupt. Like you got to build up this your specialty bar, and you can call a huddle, and it like blocks everything out. You come together, and you're like, oh, and you got to hype your team up. And if you succeed, then your entire team gets double damage and increased like movement speed and shit like that. But if you fail, only you get it, not your team. So it has some like negative connotations, I guess. But either way, it's a win-win. I think it's pretty cool. Like you can use your team to maneuver and get around the map. Like, hey, I need you to go into there, unlock this so I can get up there, or I need you to pick this up, move it here so I can hop up there, or I need you to slice this down because I can't. All I got is guns. It's pretty cool though. I'm really eager to see where it goes. And this game, like I said, is better than the last Marvel game we got.
Okay.
I'm very
Um,
eager to play it. And I highly recommend it to anybody who has not. But yeah, Spooky Crew. He's been playing it. He's been enjoying it as well. And he doesn't really play and beat games. And this is a game that I think he'll play and actually beat.
that's fair. I'm glad to hear that. So I think we should move on here to a new-ish segment. I wanted to kind of break out our industry rumors. So industry rumors and potential releases we may be looking at in the next few years from Rockstar. After the horrendous launch of the GTA 1, 2, and 3 remakes, they've decided that they're going to continue suit and remake both Red Dead Redemption and GTA 4. What's your thoughts?
Why? I mean, that's the same question I asked when the first trilogy remaster was announced. I'm like, why? Like you're just trying to milk the cow. Like the cow is already fucking bone dry, and you're still trying to. How much can we get from it? Like, no.
Well, I mean, that's GTA in a nutshell. We've been looking at that because GTA 5 has been re-released on 3 different consoles. It has gotten barely any DLC updates. It's really not. They're riding the high of what GTA is, and instead of actually investing in quality updates for their games, we're gonna get piss poor updates because it doesn't make money, not the same way Shark Cash does.
Right. Yeah, and that's the whole thing is like they're just worried about the microtransactions and people still playing and beat or play um GTA 5, which is insane, which they play a lot of GTA Online and same thing with Red Dead, like they play a lot of Red Dead Online. And it's just like when is enough enough? But the problem is it's not just Rockstar. There's no competition. There's no competition in that market
And that's
for
what we talked
open
about,
world sandbox realistic like I do whatever I want kind of
life
game.
simulators,
Yeah.
like anywhere from a life simulator, because that's what a lot of people are playing it online. I find that it is a VR chat without the VR. It allows people to go
Mhm.
above and beyond and have an engine in which they play that VR chat style gameplay people are looking for, where they go around either fake being somebody or or they just like joke around with other people and adopt a
Mhm.
personality. It's just a second life for people to be online.
Right, and it's really just becoming another platform like Minecraft and Fortnite and Roblox and stuff like that,
But
and I get it,
it's a
but
it's
it's
a
like
platform that people really it's not getting any updates. Like
right,
a lot of these other games they're getting updates. Minecraft, they always are releasing new content, new
quality
biomes, new
updates.
things. Not, n well, no, these aren't quality updates. These are feature updates.
No, I'm talking
These
about, like, good, like, quality-wise, like,
oh,
they're
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
shitty updates.
Yeah. They have some oomph to them. So I agree. Uh, Rockstar, that's not what the fan base is looking for. Just we can still play Red Dead on with the Xbox 360 copy on the Xbox, and it looks great. It plays great. It's still a good game. We
But
don't need a
it
remaster.
circles back to that same thing I talked about last week. It gets auto HDR and that FPS boost.
Yeah,
So it makes it look better on the newer console. So that's Xbox doing its thing, but I don't know, like I said, I don't know what it looks like on PlayStation.
yeah.
It could look terrible.
But I mean, even when I played it on Xbox 360, the game looked great. I think
Right.
the issue at hand is Rockstar doesn't want to create anything, and we're going to see that for a while. And maybe Saints Row will help shake up the foundation.
I hope
We're going to
so.
see Saints Row here in the new year. So,
Yeah, I think
but
that'll be
moving
big.
on to a but moving on to another stale developer and franchise, Fallout 5. Supposedly Bethesda has said that it's years down the road, but they already have an idea flushed out. A place, kind of story they want to do. They already have everything flushed out and ready to go. What's your thoughts, Vic? You ready
Um,
for Fallout 5?
I'm super excited for Fallout 5 actually, but all they have right now is one page worth of information written out for this game. So it's ways off. There's like
Yeah,
nothing ready for this to even talk about from them. But Fallout 5, I'm eager because Fallout 3 was a success. I think Fallout 4 was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed Fallout 4. Some people may not have, but Fallout 76 was a disaster, and they try to make it better and it's still people still play it. I don't get it. It's a resource game where you have to go out and scab and shit and go do this and go like no, no, I don't got time for that. I want a legitimately story driven Fallout game that my decisions matter. I can choose what side I'm
but
doing.
that's not what it was meant to be. But
No.
that's beside the point. I didn't like Fallout 76. I didn't like where it went. I didn't like how it was played. It became another Bethesda game, and honestly, it feels very Ubisoft like.
Hmm. Yeah.
It feels like we're getting towards the realm of Ubisoft games where they're riding their high. They're like, we made one good game one time, and we want to ride that high. I think the last Fallout game that was good was Fallout 3 and New Vegas, but that was made by somebody else, really.
Obsidian,
That
it was
Yeah,
owned by Xbox,
Obsidian Games.
and
So
so is Bethesda.
I think at this point, Bethesda has kind of shit the bed, and I think Fallout 5 is going to flop. So who knows? But the industry supposedly says that Fallout 5 is in the works, but it's not in the works. It's on the
Right.
plate. It's on the back burner.
So if it's on the plate, like we got Starfield coming out, we know Elder Scrolls 6 is in development. How far out is that game? Is
Yeah.
Fallout 5 after that? So we might not even see it for the next 2 generations maybe at this rate
Uh,
because they take
we're
forever to
probably
develop
thinking like
games.
5 years, and probably another 5 years or something till 3 years till we hear something. I bet.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
I
we'll
think we're
see.
gonna hear Elder Scrolls sometime this year. We're gonna hear some rumors about it in 2022. But moving on to the girth of the show, uh, the gaming news. So Elden Ring. We got some benchmarks and some performance. What we're going to see coming into the new year. What Elden Ring's going to look like. It's 50 gigs.
On the Xbox
That's
at
on
least.
Xbox. On the
Both
Xbox.
generations too, which was crazy to
Yep.
see. Xbox One and the Series,
hmm
because most games on the Series were way more obviously because there's it's a bigger file for higher
But
fidelity.
but the issue at hand is this game isn't meant to be high fidelity like some other games. It will
Mhm.
support HDR. It's 4K. It's full resolution. Whether you play on Xbox or PS5, you still have the same stats. And on PC, the PC will only play the game at the same performance level as the Xbox as well as the PS5. You are limited to 4K HDR with 60 frames per second. No more, no less.
So how do you feel
Well,
about that?
less.
Being a PC gamer, do you think this will be like a good thing because like they're not trying to develop a game for a PC that then on consoles is going to run like pretty shitty like Cyberpunk. I feel like Cyberpunk was built for PC and next
Well,
gen
I
consoles,
feel as
so then it
though
was a bad quality.
I feel as though the Dark Souls series always felt like it was designed for console and then got ported to PC. So
Hmm.
I feel as though that's what we're getting here. From Software has always seemed to be a console specific developer and then decided to help out with, PC. Like Bloodborne, for example, that was straight a console exclusive. That wasn't even on PC.
Hmm.
So they are definitely a console developer, and with that in mind, I don't think they care about supporting the PC market as much. They just do it because it's an additional market later down the road. I think their primary audience is the console gamer. The game is developed for somebody with a controller. So with that in mind, I'm not upset. I'm hoping the game plays out very well. But that's Elden Ring. So Netflix gaming, the next topic on the list. We've just finally got solid actual founded facts. Cost, there is no additional cost. It is part of your current membership, whether that's the $9, $13, or $15 plan, I think, or
Yeah,
$18.
yeah,
So
whatever. Just
whatever
know.
plan you currently have, we'll support it. It's just the number of devices you can play those games on or stream those games on. And those games are not streamed. They are downloaded to the device. So Netflix gaming is essentially a new platform like the Android store or the Android or Apple store where you have to download the content to your device and then play it.
Hmm.
So they're going to have 5 games on launch, and that's Stranger Things 1984, Stranger Things 3, the game, Shooting Hoops, Teeter Up, and Card Blast. They seem like very just bare bones
Hmm.
phone apps, and they'll be available on Android and iOS. What's your thoughts, Vic?
Um, it's interesting because Netflix took the route of making these games download, so they didn't want to get into that whole lawsuit that Epic's dealing with. So it has to go through their system of getting verified and all that kind of stuff. The game wise though, Stranger Things, they're owned by Netflix, so it makes sense
Yeah,
that they're releasing their games on that platform. The other three are just very, very, very simplistic games that probably like a 12-year-old probably could have made. Um, so I'm just curious to see how this goes. Like I understand why it's free right now because the lack of content, but maybe once they actually develop like AAA quality exclusive games on their platform, that's
honestly,
where
it.
it might get pricey and
I,
maybe
I
it
think
adds to it.
I think this is the way for the industry to start playing around with the mobile market and trying to fight Apple at their own game that Apple is fighting everyone else at right now.
Hmm.
I think that's what we're looking at. We're looking at Apple saying, "Well, this is our store, this is our thing." Now everyone's like, "Well, no. They've downloaded our app and now they install other apps from our app." So I think this is a way of getting away from Android and well, not Android really. Android's always been free to do whatever the fuck you want on your phone. But I think this is another person's way of dipping their foot into the iOS market and seeing how big they can shake this up, especially after the issue with Unreal or
Hmm.
with Fortnite and stuff.
Yeah, Epic. Yeah,
Epic.
Epic Games. Yeah.
So I think we're in a wait and see kind of stage right now. But
Hmm. Yeah, but yeah,
talking
that's
about
definitely good news that it's coming out, and right now it is just on Android and iOS. I'm curious to see how or if this comes to console or PC. Um, just to see maybe it just adds, it's another store that you buy stuff from, like the Epic store, Blizzard, just a new
yeah,
launcher, I guess. So we'll see. We'll keep track of it like we have been since this first rumored and became news.
yeah, exactly. Um, moving into another studio that's really honestly just a big company looking to try and jump into the market here. Streaming service Amazon has decided to make a game, as we all know, New World. New World developed by Amazon Studios. We're seeing kind of a lot of issues here. Vic, have you really been, following or at least hearing about New World at all?
Right. So I mean, I just see the news just on Twitter and stuff, and I'm just like, this isn't looking good. And something that's not even on our list here is apparently there's an issue where are there governors of the server or in the server that they could just basically take people's money and just bounce. Like I
Yes,
don't know how accurate that is, but I read that and I was like,
yes,
that seems pretty crazy. Like all that
yeah,
hard work that you could put into a game and just go gone
yeah.
any given month.
So, uh, to talk a little bit on this here, New World is a game where it's the end game is PvP. People were joking around with this being the new WoW killer, but it never really meant to be because it doesn't fill the same niche WoW does. WoW is a large player game where you're looking at, 10 plus people doing end game content together. New World is meant to be like a Call of Duty, but you're fighting with weapons. It's like Battlefield, but with, medieval weapons and magic. It's New World is not medieval, sorry, Renaissance era. So New World has a lot of issues right now where when you're in PvP, you can conquer an area and then you take people's money through taxation of whenever they make an item, you get to keep that money. Well, the thing is you don't have to put that money back into the city. You can just keep it in your guild. And your guild then can just walk away without ever upgrading or maintaining that area. So you could literally run your place in the positive, keeping all the money and never do anything about it. And not only that, those people who are already at the end game have found gold duplication issues. So now they can duplicate super rare epic items as well as the currency in the game.
Wow.
So the market has crashed, the player base is shrinking, and there's too many servers. So the issue at hand is they've got hundreds of servers. They've got like 100 servers, but only all 90% of all their servers are low population. Whether that's on the East Coast, West Coast, or wherever you're playing. So right now on the East Coast, there's only about 5 servers that are above low population, and there's like 30 servers on the East Coast. So there's a lot of issues right now with New World, and I think it goes to show non-game developers who decide to get into game development without the proper resources and funding. I think, well, they had the
Mhm.
funding, but not the proper resources. And I think
Right.
we're going to see this for a while now. Everyone and their mom's going to want to get into game design right now because that's the hot big thing. Because making a game is just the new way, the new making a movie. It's
Right.
how you make buku money.
Right. I mean, it's the biggest industry in the world, so they're just trying to tap into it. There's tons of money flowing through, and especially if you can develop a game and get into that live service market and succeed with it, because then that's just generating billions of dollars a month.
It's yeah, exactly. You're
Look at
you're
Fortnite.
generating. Yeah, for Fortnite exactly. It's a free game, but somehow they're one of the highest grossing revenue games in the world.
Right. Actually, speaking of that,
Micro
which isn't even on our list that I just thought about, Roblox became the number one um, revenue or profitable gaming company, and it overtook Activision and Blizzard. That was crazy to
Mhm.
see when that was announced, and I was just like, "Oh wow, like Roblox for real?" I mean, but in the same sense, it's like, did Activision
Yeah.
take that big of a hit of their other issues that they're going through, where they lost that much money, and or they're not gaining that much money anymore? Where Roblox was just like, "Yep, took over." So I'm just
Yeah,
curious to see
I
how that
think
goes.
I think the thing we have to keep in mind here is Minecraft was a big hit. It was the biggest thing ever. And then somebody took that and went one step further and said, "Well, now what if I just let you make your own game in my game and then you
Mhm.
just share that with your friends as a platform?" And it
Right,
worked. And of course it would work because that's what people love doing. People love creating, and if you give them a space to create things, they're going to continue to play. And all you have to do is say, "Well, now we'll also give you ways that you can, oh, here's skins or things you want to do.
hmm
Here's microtransactions." If you make a good game, microtransactions will sell,
yeah, for sure,
you know?
makes
That's
sense
why
though.
League of Legends and Valorant and Riot Games makes so much money. It's because they make a quality game that people want to play, and then they'll invest in microtransactions.
Right.
Talking about another game here, moving on to something that's a free game in Game Pass. Back for Blood. We just finally got the roadmap. What's your thoughts, Vic?
This is good, and it's exciting news, especially with all the complaints that I had initially with the game. Because coming in November, you get quality of life and bug fixes, just the generic stuff. But in December, new progress features and solo progression now, new cards and types. So I'm wondering with the whole solo thing, like, can you go on supply runs solo? Can you actually earn achievements solo? Can you actually like do things solo in a game? And I'm hoping that that is specifically included in this update, and that'll be big because not everybody has a group of friends to play with every single night. And maybe some
And
people want
nor do they want to
experiences.
play with just some randos who are going to
Right,
quit or, just going to screw up their game.
right. So it's important to have a good, solid solo experience before trying to make co-op the best. But in 2022 is when the big updates start rolling out. You get like new difficulties, new corruptions, new co-op stuff. Melee rework is going to be happening. New player cards and a new story, the Tunnel of Terrors. So that's pretty cool. You get like a new cleaner, obviously new story. You get cards, new written like enemies and stuff, and of course you get skins and weapons, more microtransaction kind of stuff. So I think it's big, and I like how they laid it out, and all the content seems pretty good, especially for this kind of game. What's your thoughts on it, though?
And the thing is, there's no microtransactions in Back for Blood. It's all unlockables.
No, even
Everything
better.
about the game is unlockable. That's the real girth of what makes Back for Blood a successful game, in my opinion, in the era of microtransactions. Game Pass is like, well, we've already got your money every month. We're just going to give you content to keep you playing on Game Pass.
Right.
And these studios are like, well, we've already got the money from Microsoft. Our bills are paid.
Right.
We just want you to enjoy our game. I
Right.
think we're getting to the era where I don't have to keep selling, keep up with shareholders and all this other stuff. I
Right.
don't report to shareholders. I report to Microsoft, and Microsoft then reports to shareholders. But Game Pass is already generating billions. So I think at this point, we're looking at the fact that these people get to design a game they want to make. You know, I they sold off the rights to Left 4 Dead, and they were like, well, we want to make the game because they're not going to make it. So let's
Right.
just make our own. And I think we're seeing people who get to make the games they want to make, and they're not making games just because
The company
shareholders said
says.
we need another AAA game with your name.
Right.
So, but moving on to a AAA studio that makes a game just to make a game, Assassin's Creed
Hmm.
Valhalla. We've got another update here, 1.4.0. It is. Do you think we really need this at this point? Is Valhalla such a live service game that we need? Like, do we need updates anymore? Does it?
Um,
Is the game dead?
No, I don't. I wouldn't say that it's dead. I think it still has a pretty big player base. I don't know the exact numbers on that, but the fact that they are still supporting this because this game did come out about a year ago already, and but I think this is just them testing the waters, them having fun with it, and because they can't really fuck up anymore from the launch. It's been a year, so now it's just a matter of can we get players to come back? Are they going to come back? What kind of content do they like to set up? Because we already know that the next Assassin's Creed is a live service model. So and it's going to span like different time frames and all that kind of stuff. But I think this is a way for them to experiment and see how it goes. So I'm actually eager and I'm excited that Ubisoft is taking the necessary steps to see how all of this stuff is going to work, especially for this new model. Not a fan of this, what's going on, which we'll dive into um, a little bit later here in the segment. But what's your thoughts on this? Do you think Assassin's Creed should be live service or anything?
So I'm not going to speak about the future of Assassin's Creed. I'm just going to talk about where we are now. It's a single player game. It's meant to be a single player game, but they keep trying to make it multiplayer, but not make it multiplayer. This
Hmm.
is the Ubisoft conundrum. We want to make a single player game, but we want it to be multiplayer so that we can have microtransactions, so that we can make more money off the people we've already made money off of. I think that's where we're running into issues right now, and I
Right.
think this is their way of like, yes, as you said, testing the waters for their live service version of a game, which is supposed to be, you know, a new engine as opposed to like a new engine to deliver content to your mouth. It's a new way for them to say, okay, well, let's put out some small updates. Timed seasonal events. So with 1.4.0, we're getting 4 new Tombs of the Fallen, which are collectible zones that you can do things in. You've got the Oscaria Festival, which is the wild hunt events for Norse mythology. That runs from November 11th, I think, till December 2nd. And we're going to see new skills and some game bug fixes. Honestly, I think it's their way of saying, well, yes, we want to test the waters and see if this game works as a service.
Yeah. So I mean, it's underwhelming. The game was enjoyable, like I've talked plenty of times, but I don't think like once you play it and beat it, there's no reason to go back to it. But the thing is, like,
Exactly.
the problem, like gaming right now is still stuck in that interesting part because not being able to get new graphics cards, new systems. They want to experience these games at the highest like fidelity, and maybe people have just recently bought Assassin's Creed Valhalla, playing it for the first time, and now they have more content than I had at launch, and it's going to keep them around longer than me.
Yeah.
So that's another way of thinking about it too. Like you gotta look at it from both sides too. So maybe this is important for people who are newer into the game as opposed to me. Will this bring me back to play an Assassin's Creed Valhalla? No, not going to happen.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that puts us where we are with, Assassin's Creed. But talking about another sort of single player story driven game, Horizon Forbidden West. We finally got some more details here coming up since we're looking at a February launch. Uh, they're updating the AI. They're trying to really build the AI bigger and better than most modern single player games because at sometimes you kind of deal with AIs that are always the same. Now they're trying to really deal with how does the environment affect the AI so that the
Hmm.
AI acts as if you would if you were in that environment. So they're saying that the AI has been tuned up in this point where it's way more hyper realistic than the previous Horizon games were. If an enemy is using kicking up a dust cloud, digging for things under the surface, if it can't see you, it can't see you through that dust cloud. That dust
Hmm.
cloud is an actual entity now that it created.
Right.
So I think it's fascinating to see how the robots can interact with the environment because traditionally players are the only things that interact with environments.
Hmm.
And we've also seen now, we've got a full list. You can find it online of all the machines and all of Alloy's new abilities.
Right. So I mean, this seems really exciting. I played through the first one. I really enjoyed the game, and basically what they're saying is that they're able to do a lot more now with next gen, with the PS5 as opposed to what they were able to do with the PS4. So this is really exciting that this game is really going to push next gen, like the PS5 specifically, and if it ever comes to PC at a later time with their whole ideas, who knows what the hell's going on there. But I'm excited for that because this is, if I'm not mistaken, this will be a PS5 exclusive. It's not coming to PS4, and if it does, I think it's a waste of time and money for them. Doesn't make any sense. But yeah,
Yeah,
looks exciting. I'm
it
eager
will
to
be
try it.
coming to both. It's PS4 and PS5. It's on
Okay,
both
both.
consoles. So
Then I'm confused.
we'll see what happens here. But moving back to the world of Xbox, Xbox has just announced, or insiders have just announced, that there is an Xbox One versus 100 returning. A traditional game that we saw, which was one of those party games during the time where we had the Xbox 360, the online gaming, the gaming market for the general public as opposed to the PC online gaming was really starting to take off. And now we're dealing with, those party games that we first had. They're bringing back that one versus 100 game show. Are you excited? Do you want to play one versus 100 again?
I feel like I kind of missed out. I think I may have checked it out like one time on 360 back in the day. This is pretty cool because this is Xbox. This is Microsoft's way apparently wanting to tap into the whole metaverse because apparently to be able to play this, you have to like go into VR or with their
Yeah,
Hololens or something like that. Like there's going to be a way for them to get you into the game more, and then like you're participating you're in a game show more or less. So
yeah.
I'm curious to see what they do. If this is going to be a straight up one versus 100 kind of thing, where like it's it was like a question based kind of game. Like it was fun. I do
One
remember
person
it.
competing against a crowd of 100 people who their answers were taken on average versus the one player getting to choose their response.
Hmm.
If the 100 people won, they split the reward, and if the one person won, they took the reward. So if 100 people won, they would split 10,000 gamer points or Microsoft points. If that one person won, they won 10,000 Microsoft points.
Yeah,
So it was a way that game show with actual rewards. So I'm
but
interested to see what happens here.
I
But
am curious though to see how this plays out because like that's kind of gambling, and we're getting into the whole points with the whole loot box being a gambling thing. So I want to
is it
see how
is
they
it
go about this.
gambling if you're not putting money into it? Because you didn't have to pay to play.
Right.
So,
But
but
like, do regular game shows? Do you have to be 18 or older to participate? And I think you
yes,
do.
I
So like
believe so
that's where I
because you
think
have
it
to
runs
sign your.
into.
I don't. It's not 100%. Like to win. I think you have to be 18 or older to play to win. But there were game shows where kids were involved as well.
Mhm.
So that's another discussion for another time, though. But one versus 100 is potentially returning to the Xbox metaverse here. Sticking in the world of Xbox, though, this is a weird one out of left field. Xbox is now partnered with Crunchyroll to bring 75 days free through their Game Pass perks. What's your thoughts on this, Vic?
I've been scratching my head since the news came out. Really confused because we all know that PlayStation bought Crunchyroll out, and so they're still working on how to incorporate Crunchyroll in the PlayStation, right? So, like you said, this came out of left field. Like, why is there a was this a pre to
Yeah.
it discussion? Like
Yeah, is this already
partnership,
signed deal?
right? Was this already a thing before PlayStation bought out? And if so, like, why did it take like that long for it to come out? You know what I mean? So it's
Mhm.
just like, and then now I want to see what the benefits of that is. Like, now you're trying to push Game Pass with Crunchyroll. Like, hey, if you get Game Pass, you also get Crunchyroll for 75 days free. Like, kind of what they did with Disney Plus for there for
Yeah,
a while. So it's just like, it's a great thing for Game Pass and Xbox. It's a great marketing deal, but I'm just really confused on how
agreed.
this happened and whatnot, especially since it's a PlayStation thing. But there's a lot of that going on right now. And you think about it, there's PlayStation exclusives, timed exclusives that are made by an Xbox studio right now, and all that
Mhm.
other stuff. So
It's the whole market of I bought you, but you had deals already, so we have to honor those deals because 'cause they're already signed. So, it's interesting, but, if we wanna stick here in the world of Xbox and move back into gaming here, The Gunk is a new Xbox exclusive game that's coming to Game Pass. It's a third-person sci-fi adventure game. It will be released on December 16th. What's your thoughts about The Gunk, Vic?
um, we haven't really seen too much about this. When it was revealed a while back, it was the visually appealing to me, and it just looked like a lot of fun. It just looked like I don't even know what to even compare it to, but it just it looked really good. And then with this being announced that it's coming out in 2 months, that's exciting, and it's coming to Game Pass, guys. It's another game that's going to be probably a lot of fun, like Psychonauts. It's going to be a game to check out, and it's a game that you don't want to miss. And guess what? If you miss it, it's always going to be on Game Pass because this will be an exclusive to Xbox. Does this game like appeal to you at all, Roger?
I didn't know about it until you posted about it, and honestly, I don't know. I don't know where I stand with it because it looks interesting. Um, it's from Image Inform Games, and this isn't their first game. They've had Steam World, which I believe was a side scroller. They had Steam World Dig 2. They had Steam World Heist, and they had this whole narrative going for a while now, and they've been making games for mobile markets, whether that be phones or the Nintendo DS and Switch. So I'm interested to see why they're making a 3D game for Xbox. I'm interested to see what it's gonna be. The game leads me to believe it's gonna look kind of like a um, it's gonna be almost like a Ratchet and Clank style game or
Hmm.
uh Jack and Daxter, one of those traditional like exploration games where you go through, do a story. So I'm interested to see how this story handles going from a 2D style game to a 3D style game.
Right, and especially with the backing of Xbox too, because you think about it, like when they were making all those games for indie developers, like they were probably on a certain budget. Now they're not. Um, the greatest game in Valorant. Yeah, so we get it. Valorant is great, but yeah, the Gunk seems like a lot of looks like a lot of fun. I'm eager to check it out, and best believe it'll be a game that I download and check out whether I play or beat it. But
Yeah,
moving on here, though, sticking in along the lines of Xbox exclusives, Starfield. We got some good news coming out here. It is in a completely playable state. Um, that's a to me, it's a good thing, but there's still a lot of work to do, according to the developers. Obviously, they want to make sure it's polished, no bugs. This is good news. What do you think? Especially coming off like Cyberpunk was like, oh,
it's
it went
horseshit.
gold, but then it
It,
was
it's
bad.
it's 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 horseshit PR. That's all it is, dude. Let's call a spade a spade. All it is their way of hyping the fan base back up. Like, hey, don't forget, we're still here. The game's already ready. When's the last time we were told that the game was all ready?
Which one? Which one do we
What
want to start
what
with?
yeah, exactly. What expected 8-year-old game, 8 years in development, said the game's all ready to go, we're just polishing it. And then what
Cyberpunk.
crap pile yeah, exactly. So let's not get overhyped about it. Yeah, cool, Starfield's ready to go, but let's be honest here. Who's developing the game?
Bethesda.
All right. So last time we got a developed game, we got, Skyrim. And let's
Fallout
be
4,
honest,
right?
Fallout 4, yes, that came after. And honestly, the two games, they they
It,
did well. They
Yeah, but I
did
said they're
well.
two of the biggest games like of
Yeah,
all time. So
they're yeah. But are they great games? Not really. They're not good games. They're just games that were played by a lot of people because a lot of people had them overhyped. And if we continue to do this with Starfield, I think we might run the risk of the same mistake.
mhm.
We're gonna get cyberpunk syndrome here.
I hope not. I hope this game turns
So,
out good. It's looking good. Like there are little
oh yeah,
releases of
there's
content
nothing
that's
wrong
coming
with
out.
hoping,
Yeah,
but I think getting too excited about it is a different issue altogether. But
right.
talking about getting excited for things to get released, the Steam Deck
Hmm.
that was supposed to be coming out this holiday season. Uh, we got bait and switched. It's now coming out February 2022. And if you had put money down, the $5 down to hold your spot in line for one, your money is still good and you still hold the place in line that you originally had. So the Steam Deck delayed till February 2022. What's your thoughts, Vic?
Go for it. I'm at the point now where like if anything ever needs a delay, go for it. Obviously, you're delaying it for a reason.
Crap,
It
right?
may not be ready.
Yeah, exactly. I would rather you develop a good console and have it come out ready to go and it be awesome than me waste my $300 and be like, wow,
I can't do nothing with it.
this is horrible. Why did I buy this? But I think we should move on here to another device here, the handheld market. The Switch has news. You can now watch but not stream to Twitch natively on the device. What's your thoughts of that,
I
Vic?
mean, this is
I don't.
cool, like for like, cause like the Switch is like a kid, family-oriented console, and you can take it on the go. So it makes sense to put the Twitch app on there to view. But I'm curious on why they didn't allow the streaming part of it on there. Like, I wonder if there's a reason behind that. Like, maybe the Switch isn't capable of doing it. Um, but a lot of people would love this the stream their Switch on. They're a lot easier as opposed to getting like a capture card and go through their PC and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
they don't want to do that whole workaround. So like people who play uh Animal Crossing like a lot or the new Pokemon coming out or Smash, like people can't
Or
stream
even
this.
Mario Party that came out.
Yeah, Mario Party Superstars, like you can't stream none of these good games at all unless you do the workaround. And not everybody can have a good PC and a capture card. A capture card's kind of pricey.
Yeah, it alone is half the price of a Switch if you want a good one. So I think it's interesting to see that we're only just now getting a Twitch app on the Switch, but I honestly, do you not have a phone?
Right. Just
So
watch it on your phone at that point.
yeah. So moving on here from the Nintendo world, World of Warcraft and Activision Blizzard. We finally just got the announcement for the last installment of the Shadowlands patch of World of Warcraft. Eternity's End 9.2. We don't know a release date yet, but we saw what the content is going to be about.
So are you
Vic,
excited for it?
me? No.
Because I don't play World of Warcraft, so I'd rather get your insight on this. Are you excited for it at all? Or were you
So
surprised by the announcement of the new content?
I'm not surprised. Actually, I am surprised. I take that wholly back. I'm sorry. I am surprised that we're getting it because Blizzard said they weren't going to do anything until the lawsuit was over, and I don't, to my knowledge, I don't believe the lawsuit's completely over yet. So I think it was an Activision Blizzard dirty tactic that I called out in the beginning, saying, "Hey, they're just trying to get us to attack the people who are already being attacked by Blizzard, so that they'll develop the game once we help them to harass the people they've already harassed." So I think it was a shitty move, and they were like, "Well, we can't. We're losing subs on WoW fast. Revert, revert. We're gonna develop it." So I think yes, good kudos to the developers who are actually genuinely care and still want to make World of Warcraft a good game, but we're looking at a 9.2 patch instead of getting up to a 9.3, which a lot of people would have expected because the past two expansions, I believe we had three major keystone patches. They're only
Mhm.
doing two now. So maybe they had to cut the story short, change the whole plan. So I'm kind of worried to see what we get because the ending of this 9.2 was pretty bad. In my
Mhm.
opinion, 9.2 or 9.1, my apologies. 9.1 was a really bad patch. WoW didn't offer much, and it took till 9.1.5 to fix all the issues we've been dealing with since the launch of Shadowlands. I don't know. I think this is a little silly, and I don't know where Blizzard's going to go after this because we're fighting literally the equivalent of Satan, the Lord of Hell himself, and he's about to remake the world in its entirety. We've defeated elder gods, we've defeated gods, literal makers of the world. So where do we go after this? What do we do? What's next? So I'm kind of worried to see where WoW takes it from here.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a wait and see. I haven't played WoW in forever, and I mean, it's exciting that there's more content, but in the same breath, like, is it going to be good content? Is it going to be worth playing? Like, and then after that, like, what's next? That's the biggest
Because
question: is what's next? Like you said, like,
yeah,
you've done anything and everything in World of Warcraft. Like, I mean, you granted, like,
honestly,
there's probably something that you can pull from, and there's always creative stuff that you can make. So,
but I think the issue at hand is I don't think there's going to be a WoW killer. It's WoW is going to kill itself at
itself
some point. You're just waiting for that.
for
But
sure.
talking about live service models, Far Cry has decided that the next game in the series is a live service model. Are you ready, Vic, for live service everything?
No. Like, when is Ubisoft ever going to learn its lesson? Like, they love to just ride the hype trains of like other companies. Are like, whoo, we love seeing this. They're doing really good with live service. Let's make live service games. Oh wait, they're
Yeah.
not that good anymore because they did that with open world games too. They were like, ooh, open world games are doing really good. We're going to make all of our
Well,
games
no,
open world
they
games.
actually were a pioneer for open world games. I'll give
Mm,
them the credit there.
not all of them though.
Far Cry 2. That was like one of the first
Mm.
open world games that really pushed what open world was.
Right, but not all of their games were open world. They were just like, "Oh, everyone's doing open world games. We're gonna make all of our games open world."
Yeah,
No, you
well, I
don't need
think
to.
I think that's because they made Far Cry 2 and they were like, "Yeah, it's open world and everyone loves it. Let's keep that going."
Right, and I think that's the problem now that they're running into because we all know that they announced the Assassin's Creed live service game. Now Far Cry is going to be a live service game. Like, what are they going to do? Like, they're going to do Ghost Recon or the Division might be a live service game here soon too. We don't know 100% on that. Splinter Cell was kind of rumored to be announced here soon. Like, is that going to be a live service game next? Like, no, I would hope not. Like, that would be a
I
terrible
would hope
game to be
not.
live service. But
Yeah.
Ubisoft just loves fucking shit up and making poor decisions. I think there needs to be some shakeup in that company as well, just like Blizzard.
Yeah. I kind of agree. So, um moving on from Far Cry to another Ubisoft game, Rainbow Six Extraction. We're looking at a an unusual price tag here, $40 for Rainbow Six Extraction, and it comes with a buddy pass. So now one person buys it, they get I believe it's two 14-day trials that are crossplay, so anyone can redeem it on any system, and any progress they make is carried over. What's your thoughts, Vic?
I was actually surprised that Ubisoft made this decision. Out of all the poor decisions that they have been making, they made a game not $60, $40. I was really surprised they hit that price for that. But you telling me that this game is $40 means it's not going to have a lot of content, and this game is meant to be replayed a lot. So that is where I'm going to be like, oh, this might be a red flag here because like Back for Blood was not $40, and it's a similar play style game. Like, you're going in, you're completing missions, and you can go back and replay them and all that kind of stuff. So it's just like, what's going on here? But maybe they have an idea. Maybe they're going to get their money from microtransactions. That's
Or
where
do you
they're going to
think
get them.
they're may or do you think they're maybe worried that Back for Blood is doing so well that they have to compete against Back for Blood when they're a paid game and Back for Blood was free on Game Pass?
Right? It could be. It definitely could be. I definitely like their free buddy pass though. You get 14 days to try out the game. So like, if I buy it and you want to check it out before buying it,
Yeah,
come play with me for 14 days. If you like it, you're like, fuck yeah, I'll buy the game. It's fun. Or no, this shit's
40
trash.
bucks, yeah.
I'm not buying it.
Exactly.
And it's
And
crossplay,
and
like, that's huge. Like, moving into
mhm,
the crossplay market for every game is going to be so important. And the fact that the buddy pass works crossplay. So if I buy it on Xbox and I give you a buddy pass, you can go download it on PC and play with me. That's going to
yeah,
be that's the crazy part. And it's crazy to think, like,
agreed.
a year ago we were struggling, like, man, are we going to see crossplay games? Are games going to be really crossplay? Yeah, we're
Well, the
here.
industry realized fast that, Microsoft's like, "Well, we're gonna make all of our games work on Xbox and PC," and Sony's just like, "Fuck."
Like, Xbox and Nintendo and PC were all on board to make shit crossplay for the most part, like games that are actually intertwined. And then it was because like Nintendo hopped on board with like Minecraft and like
Yeah.
Rocket League and shit like that, Fortnite. So they were like, yeah, it makes sense. And PlayStation was or Sony was like, no, Now, PlayStation's the best way to play. It's the only way to play. Like, no, get out of your fucking.
And then everyone's like, "Oh, well, we're just gonna do this," and they're like, "Oh shit, what do we do?" So I think it's interesting to see that the price tag for Rainbow Six Extraction for Hakeem.
Yeah.
YouTube, moving on here. YouTube is now no longer going to show a dislike, the dislike amount, how many dislikes a video has.
It blows my mind that we're that
Yeah.
soft of a world that we got to remove the dislike amount because, oh my god, it shows that there's more. Like, who gives a fuck?
Well, I think the industry is weighing down on YouTube and saying, "Hey, man, you're ruining our PR. Look at Vanguard's release trailer.
Yeah.
There was a ton of dislike, but
Well,
look
I
at
think.
the Blizzard's the World of Warcraft dislike button. That was so, oh my god,
Well, Nintendo just
9.2.
had one of the worst ones. They had their
Yeah.
most disliked video the other day when they were talking about the expansion pass. Like, that was crazy, and I think that's because that was the last big news that I saw about it, something being disliked. That I saw the YouTube coming out and be like, yeah, we're just gonna remove. No one's allowed to see it. But the thing is, like, as a YouTube channel moderator, you can control that yourself already. So if it was that big of a problem to you where you needed to block that, you could have went and blocked it yourself. You don't have to make everybody make it not visible. You know what I mean? Like, that's the problem. Don't you agree, Roger? Or do you see their point of needing to block it?
I think blocking it is a joke. I think the issue at hand is the industry doesn't want the consumer telling it what we think anymore. We tell the as the consumers of the industry, why are we removing such an established feature? Well, it's because we tell you
Control.
your shit's garbage. I don't want this. Your game looks like garbage. Holy crap, Blizzard. It looks disgusting. And Blizzard's like, "Well, shit, it's bad PR. It's bad PR." Yeah,
Mhm.
you're bad PR. You are
Yeah.
the problem.
Make good
We're
shit and you won't
telling
have
you.
bad PR.
Yeah, actually make quality content. I don't think we're dealing with a review bombing as much as people say we are. Like supposedly people are like, "Oh, I'm getting review bombed. People are telling me my shit's horrible, you know, even though it's not. They're just they don't like me." And it's like, "Well, yeah, guess what? Maybe it's because of how you run your shit and design your shit that people are review bombing you poorly. Maybe you should stop, you know, doing crappy work." But I think it's a little silly to remove such an established feature. I don't see Facebook removing the dislike feature, or did they? I forget. Did you Facebook move too?
Well, Facebook, you can like, heart, mad, sad.
Yeah,
You can react to it however you want.
yeah, and exactly. I'm very much on the same page here as Spooky Crew. Don't be a chode, and maybe people won't hate you.
Right. Just
Like,
make good shit, and we won't fucking have to dislike it.
stop doing, you know, stop being big business and try to be, you know, some quality. Give us quality.
Right. So now, how are you ever supposed to get better if you don't ever see the negative shit? You're
There
only going to
is
see
no
positive stuff.
innovation. Yeah,
Never will
it's
be
only
innovation. That's the
innovation.
problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think we should move on here to one of our last topics in gaming news. I think this was a little funny and silly. Intel has just disabled DirectX 11, I believe, or DirectX 12 on their fifth generation processors, which is their Haswell line, I believe. This is a processor from 2013 to 2014. Isn't that crazy to you that Intel's still like, oh shoot, we got to disable this, and they're disabling it instead of trying to patch it. So
Right.
users out there who built a computer and they haven't upgraded for years, you're running a processor from 2013 or 2014 with Intel, you may not be able to play DirectX, the modern DirectX anymore
Yeah.
because there's a security vulnerability
It
and
kind of
Intel
makes
doesn't want to
sense.
fix it.
It
Yeah,
kind of makes sense because it's super outdated. You figure computers get outdated pretty damn quick, and that shit's
yeah.
9 years old, buddy, or 8 years old. It's time to upgrade. So it's just like, I think it's kind of a way of forcing people to upgrade in a way, which is
Yeah.
not a good thing to force people. But it was a
It
security
feels like an
flaw,
Apple thing to me,
right?
on one aspect, but it doesn't feel like, you know, it kind of like, yeah, eventually you gotta move forward, but it does feel kind of Apple-like.
Right, but there's enough time in between where it doesn't seem as Apple-ish. in a way. And the fact that this was a security flaw, so they just said that's it. We're not even going to fix it. We're just going to cut it off. Like it just doesn't work anymore. So it's just like, all right, cool. You're protecting shit, but you could have fixed it. But fuck it. Just I'll get a new one.
Yeah, now I have to go buy a new processor while we're in a microprocessor shortage.
Right. So
So
that's another bad thing. So,
so I
uh,
think I think it's an interesting topic to see that at this point in the market they're like, well, 8 years, that's too old. We're discontinuing it. Sorry, goodbye.
yeah, it makes sense. So move on.
Yeah.
But that's enough of our gaming topics. So let's move on to our deep freeze moment of the week. I think this is a pretty good question here. So, what game did you play that you didn't expect to enjoy but ended up liking it? Let's start with you.
I think I would go with modern Call of Duty, whether that be like Cold War or Warzone. I was a big proponent of just hating Call of Duty to hate Call of Duty. But to be honest, I think Warzone was honestly a very it's worlds better than Fortnite in my opinion. It's worlds better than Apex. I just enjoyed it until it got loaded with hackers, and then the
And we
game
just
kind of
completely
became
dropped that game.
dumpster. Yeah, the game became dumpsters once the community ruined it. But before the community ruined it, honestly, I thought they were great. Like I played the Call of Duty. I That's how I feel about Call of Duty Cold War. I got to the campaign and I played it. And I was like, wow, this is
Most
actually really good. And I
spooky
played
crew.
zombies, and I thought the zombies in Cold War was one of the best zombies that I genuinely just find myself liking that the
Mhm.
zombies mode.
Right.
So I honestly I feel as though modern Call of Duty is one of those things for me where I'm like, there. Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of issues, but I still enjoy quite a few of them.
I love what Spooky Crew said here. Most games I played in the last past 5 years or so. Not
You
wrong
you
there.
you thought you'd hate it, but you liked it?
For sure. But I would probably have to go with a game that we're actually gonna do a review here soon is Near Replicant because I feel like it was a game that I wasn't ever gonna play unless you told me, "Yo, let's play it and review it." I'm like, "Okay, sure." And I've been open to playing more games, so I think that definitely helped with it. But me, most of my life, I could care less about JRPGs. Just wasn't my style, just wasn't my thing. But I actually ended up thoroughly enjoying Near Replicant. Like I kept wanting to play it. I kept wanting to go back. Like shit, what's going on in this story and stuff like that. Um, all right, Phil, we
Alright,
get
I
it.
think Philipper just got banned. Oops.
But no, yeah, I definitely would say Near Replicant for sure because it was just a game that just really wasn't expecting to actually enjoy in the end. I thought I was like, "Man, this game's gonna be terrible. I'm not gonna enjoy it. It's just not my kind of thing. It's not my cup of tea." And I was like, "Oh, okay, this was
It's
actually fun."
actually good.
Right.
Yeah. No, I felt that way about a lot of games recently where I'm just like, this doesn't look like it's going to be good." And then I was like, wow, I genuinely liked it. Like Valorant, for example. I was a big hater before I thought I was like, all right, fine. Let me pick up Valorant and actually see how it is. And I liked it. I honestly, I was very surprised and very happy with how it turned out. It felt very true to
Mhm.
CS:GO style games, and I was very happy.
Right. And another one that was Death's Door that I played this year. If it wasn't for me being involved in the gaming community the way that I am and seeing the people talk highly of it and be like, yo, this game could be winning game of the year and this and that. If I looked at this game, looking at the cover, looking at the gameplay, I'd be like, meh, I might not even play this game. But I played it, I beat it, and I was like, I understand why this game could be in the Tuxer Game of the Year. And I really fucking enjoyed that game. Holy fuck. And it's just like, it's pretty cool to dabble into different genres that I typically wouldn't have played looking at 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10
No,
years ago,
I'm with you.
I was a shooter. I was a shooter guy. Halo, Gears, Call of Duty. That's it. I didn't really play much else. In Battlefield, I guess the early days, like Bad Company 2 and whatnot. So it was just like, all right, cool. This makes sense now that I can explore and enjoy other genres and other games that I wouldn't actually normally enjoy from the past. And any indie developed game now is like that too. Like a lot of indie developed games do shit crazy, and you're just like, whoa, this game looks stupid as fuck. And you play, it and you're like, wow, that was actually really fun. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
that game.
No, and I kind of agree. I with Philipper here, like things like Valorant and stuff. We had this big hate against it, where like they were talking, oh, we're gonna have this, this anti-cheat engine that has to boot up with your OS, and I was like, this is stupid. I'm gonna hate it. And honestly, I think it's better than League of Legends. I agree with Philipper.
I love what they were talking about in chat. There's a lot of minorities in here. I love y'all. Y'all are great. Y'all are definitely great. But yeah, man, I think that's it for our deep freeze moment. So you got anything else, like last comments or remarks before we close out the episode?
Thanks for checking us out. Out today, guys. I really appreciate everyone coming out and tuning in and actually contributing to the conversation. It really helps.
For sure. I'm actually surprised that we got through all of that content in the time that we did. We've been hour and 17 minutes, hour and 15, and that's pretty good. So I definitely appreciate you guys coming out, checking us out for this whole hour. For sure, that who did check us out live and who does check us out later on YouTube. If you missed it and you did watch us on YouTube, come check us out live on Sunday, 7 p.m. Join our conversation like all the rest of the guys did here in chat, and give us join the conversation. Have fun with us too. But Roger, where can we find you at?
Well, most of you know where I'm at. I'm at twitch.tv/lunatic_oblivion. It's spelled below.
Cool. And of course, you can check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin underscore if you want to tweet or any. I post a lot of gaming news and stuff that's going on in the market on my Twitter, so definitely check that out. My Facebook is Vic Brubacher. If you have questions, concerns, you want to come on the show, hit me up there. And of course, my Xbox X Never Space Chillin. You want a game, party up, or anything like that? A lot of games are crossplay, so I'm always down to play. But nonetheless, man, definitely want to thank everyone again. But until next time, peace.